That is also her avatar. You have not seen because you did not give that opportunity. So similarly, God is not just close your eyes and meditate. That is also God. Open your eyes and look at this world. He is also God. You think of that I. That is also God. That Jiva is also God. All karmas are also God. The Pancha Mahabhut and all the modification is also God. That is the Samagra Drishti of the Lord. This is the most fascinating and most beautiful. This six aspect plus that finally Bhagavan also tells how one can recognize, one can not only realize God when we are also or also seeing, aware of the body and aware of the world, we can realize God. That is called Jivan Mukti. And even when the body falls off, one realizes God. That is called Videha Mukti. So Bhagavan here says that Prayana Kale Pichamam Te Viduhu Yukta Chetasaha, one who is tuned to me, one whose mind is tuned to me, even when their body falls off, they realize me. They are one with me. So this is the most fascinating thing. The spiritual path it tells about experiencing that ultimate here and now. See, all the results of karma is gained there and afterwards, there and then. There and then, yeah. Not here and now. If you perform action, you will get the result in future, in other time, in other place, in other object or environment. Whether it is karma, whether it's ordinary karma, or whether it's dharmic karma, it's gain afterwards. Even many religions, they talk about the phala as after death you go to some loka, Swargalok or some other loka. So result is gain after death. But Vedanta talks about the result here and now. You recognize yourself and you are free. All those great masters, right from our good old times till present time, so many masters, they are those who have realized God here and now. And even when their body falls off, they are one with God only. So, prayana kale pichamam te viduhu yukta chetasaha. Now, these technical terms which are used here, Brahma, Atma and all, Arjuna asked this question in the next verse, in the next chapter. And in that, Bhagavan briefly explains all these terms, and he also explains in detail how we can recognize him more easily. A very sahaj and very beautiful path is given to us in the next chapter, which I will not tell you now. So in the next chapter, a very beautiful path is also given. And also Bhagavan tells if one doesn't recognize God and dies, then what are the various gatis which one gains? Where do we go? Many people wonder, after that, where do we go? Do we go here, there? So that is also revealed in the next chapter. But here, Arjuna was told that I will reveal to you my nature. You will come to know me completely and free from all doubts. So very beautifully, Bhagavan revealed his nature as expressing through these twofold Prakriti, Para and Apara, and how his four types of devotees and how that jnani surrenders to him and realizes him, and how they realize his complete, with all his various facets. So thus concludes this chapter. We will chant the Sankalpa Vakya, but our pravachan is not complete. I will take up the questions. Om Tat Sad Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Vijnana Yogo Nama Saptamodhyayah. Thus, this is the 7th chapter named as Jnana Vijnana Yoga, knowledge and direct realization of that knowledge, knowledge of Brahma, knowledge of God, in the form of a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. And it also reveals the Yoga Shastra, science of yoga, and gives the knowledge of that Brahma. And it is the essence of the Upanishads. So this Bhagavad Gita is also called Upanishad. Gitasu Upanishatsu. Thus concludes this 7th chapter. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om. Now comes the next phase. I have received many these questions. Yesterday also I tried to answer these questions. So briefly I will answer these questions. Some of the questions are directly related to the topic which we are taking, and some are from the previous chapters, and some are general questions. So let us, and these questions might be belonging to a particular person, but it becomes beneficial to everyone, because similar type of questions come to our mind also. So let us take up these questions. Swamiji, I do not know whether the following question should be asked now, but I must ask to clear my constant doubt. Granted that there must be a creator of the universe who is all-powerful and omnipresent, including within each one of us. But the moment you say that the self within us is Brahma, my confusion starts. So if you have heard today's pravachan also, I think the confusion should end there. Because when we talk about the self is that Brahma. That term used, when we say self is pure consciousness, that pure consciousness is Brahma, pure existence, consciousness and bliss. When we say pure existence, see, when we experience anything in this world, we experience it as existing. Like I look at this book, I say book is. But what exactly is the meaning of isness? What is the meaning of existing? Whatever I see is the book. I'll experience it with my senses. But then I say it is. That isness per se, not something is, but isness by itself is called that absolute isness or absolute existence. In the same way, there is absolute consciousness, not conscious of something, but consciousness per se. So absolute existence, absolute consciousness, and absolute bliss, not happy because of something, but happiness itself. That is the nature of Brahma, and that is the nature of Atma. So when we say Atma is Brahma, that's what we mean. Mind and intellect belongs to the physical body. This question continues. Mind and intellect belongs to the physical body, which is cremated, buried at death. So the question is, if the mind is the real doer of good or evil, which gets buried or burnt into ashes, then who benefits from good deeds or suffers from bad karma? After all, the self is a part of him. See, as long as we don't realize our own self as Brahma, our identification with our limited personality, which is created by this mind and intellect, doesn't disappear. When a person dies, only the one becomes disengaged from the body. The mind and intellect doesn't die. It continues its journey. And this we experience, actually, even there are various experiences in the world where people remember their past lives. There are thousands, millions of these cases are there from all over the world. If the body was burnt and dead and gone and all, then how come that fellow remembers and authenticated? There are many which are false also. But there are, even if one case is true, then it is true. So the difference between the materialistic vision and spirituality is, materialism says that once the body dies, nothing remains. Spirituality says that even when the body dies, something remains and it continues. It's like our mobile. Even when the instrument gets spoiled, we can remove the chip. The chip survives and you can put it in another phone and it again starts functioning. And it carries its samskar. The mobile phone may look totally different, but that chip carries its samskar. It carries the past, what you call the names of all the people and all those things. And you get the bill also. You cannot say, "Nahi, nahi, mera to nahi hai wo." I don't know who's you are talking about. It comes to you. It comes to the chip, not to the outer. Our result comes not to the body, to the mind, the intellect, and that I who is identified with it. So this, you contemplate on it, it will become more clear. Well, briefly, I will answer so that I will be able to answer all these questions. Hari Om Swamiji, my confusion is as follows. Lot of 2-3 confusions are there. The awareness in my body helps me to know or find out what I know and what I do not know. Same awareness knows itself. Then technically what changes at mind and intellect in a knower of awareness? See, at present we are not only aware of our mind and intellect and body, we are also identified with it. This awareness and identification are two different things. For example, I am looking at this book, I am aware of the book, but I am not identified with the book. Identification means considering the book as I. I may consider a book as my, but to consider the book as I is called identification. In Sanskrit, the term is tadatmya, tad atma iti manyate. So I am not only aware of the body, but I also identify with the body as I. So that becomes the cause of our trouble, not the awareness itself, identification. So when a person realizes the self, the identification drops, awareness continues. So even a realized master is aware of the world, but there is no identification with a limited object as I. So this, you think about it. When we sit to meditate, we are made to pick up inputs from all sense organs except the eyes and analyze the point where they sink. Similarly, we are to reach the source of thoughts arising in our mind. Can we, ignorant people, in the bracket, do that with our eyes open and take all visible inputs and find that sinking point? Yes. Meditation is just a process by which we try to shift our attention to the self. It becomes easier when we close our eyes because there are less distraction. But one can meditate with our eyes open also. So with our eyes open or eyes closed, our attention should be on that self, which is not only the seer of this world, but also the world, which is everything. So that has to be kept in mind while meditating. Not that the world is different and I am different, but self alone is expressing as the world also. So when I open my eyes and meditate, then I should take everything, whatever is there in front of me, as expression of that same divinity. And when I close my eyes, I should meditate that the one who is experiencing, one who is the witness of all my thoughts and all, is that Atma. So with my eyes open or with my eyes closed also, I can meditate. You can meditate while walking, while talking, while doing your... That is called keeping attention on God and doing our work. So you can do meditation with your eyes open. Mind and intellect are subtle bodies. Man can only experience his own mind and intellect. Do you believe that possibly animals also have such capabilities and we are not aware of this? If yes, are they also eligible to liberation in that life? See, this subtle body, according to our scriptures, this subtle body is there in human beings, animal, birds, plant, everywhere. Only the gross body is not fully equipped to express the subtle body completely in an animal. For example, if a human being becomes animal, an intelligent so-called human being becomes animal, that animal might not be intelligent, or his intelligence will not be compared to this human being. It will be less restrained because of the restraint of the body. It's like, again, to give the example of the chip, not Uncle Chip, but that mobile chip. That mobile chip, suppose I have a very sophisticated phone, all sorts of features are there and all, but then I remove that chip and then I put it in ordinary phone, which doesn't have all these features. So even though the chip is same, the expression is not same. Similarly, the jiva being the same, the expression of the jiva in all beings are not same. So in human being, it is maximum. But even as an animal, if that animal has just, with some samskar of human, has just become animal, or with whatever condition, that animal, if he comes in contact with a realized master, or if only a few samskars are there because of which that person or that jiva has become animal, that animal can also realize. In recent time, we have stories of animals in Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi's ashram. There was one cow, you must have heard about it, her name was Lakshmi. And she used to be there all the time with Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, used to pet her and all. And when she died, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi himself, he was there present and he said she has attained moksha. So her samadhi is there in Tiruvannamalai, in Ramana Kendra, in Ramana Ashram. So it is possible for animals also to gain that state of realization, but it's rare. If I am the space in the pot and after the pot disintegrates, I merge with all other space. Then in a new pot, how do I carry my karmic imprint? Do I retain my distinct identity of this pot space, or do I merge and start afresh? Kindly clarify my confusion. See, this example of pot and pot space may not be totally applicable for all the explanation. So when a person dies, you can imagine, I can add something more to that example of pot. So let us just imagine the pot with something filled in it. Let us say filled with water, good water, dirty water, colored water. So when a person dies, it is like that water from that pot gets shifted to another pot. It's like you just take that water and pour it into another pot, maybe a longish pot or a fat pot. So the pot has changed, but the water is same. And the space is also same because there is only one space. So space is same, water is same, pot has changed. Similarly, when we die and take up another body, Atma is same, mind and intellect, what we call the subtle body is same, gross body has fallen off. And that's what we saw in the second chapter also. Bhagavan says, this gross body is like our dress. Just as we change our dress, a person who dies changes, drops the old dress and wears a new dress, new body. Another question. I hope you are enjoying these questions. They might not be your questions, but we have seen that everyone gets similar type of doubts at different stages of our evolution, spiritual evolution. See, and when we write them, we might feel, अरे the original question मेरा है. ऐसा ही क्वेश्चन दूसरों ने भी बहुत बार पूछा है. Therefore, in Bhagavad and other Puranas, they always this very interesting thing is there, that whenever any question is asked to some teacher, he will always say that similar question was asked by someone to someone, and I will tell you that conversation. So this is just a prastavana or comment in between. Swamiji, in this world where we are by default entangled in family responsibilities, job, etc., how do we give up everything and give 100% attention to God? See, you don't have to give up everything, because everything is God. Just try to give your attention to God. First start with 1%. Then 2%, 3%, 4%, you keep on increasing the percentage. And you do it in such a way that your actions also goes on and this attention also, it is possible. For example, our attention on that I am a human being always remains, I hope. In all the situation, whether I am happy, unhappy, or whether I am working and this and that I am a human being, I am a man or I am a woman, I am an Indian, I am a Hindu or a Muslim, this remains somewhere in the background. You don't have to remember every day, you don't remember I am a man, then something is wrong with you. So similarly, I don't have to remember in the sense keep on chanting God's name or something. That also is helpful. But I have to remember that I am God, the world is God, everything is God. If I remember that remembrance itself is my sadhana, and it will help me slowly and steadily to make my mind pure. My actions will become more pure. My thoughts will become more pure. It's automatic. It's like taking a pill. That pill has got its effect. Similarly, just remembering that divinity is everything. Sarvam khalvidam brahma. That everything is Brahma. Remembering this itself is our sadhana. That's called sumiran. That's remembering God. Many times we remember only His name. That also is fine in the initial stages. We just remember name, but we don't remember the nature of God completely. So it is possible to, even with all our responsibilities, job and all, if you cannot give 100%, give 1%, then increase it slowly and steadily. 2%, 3%. And don't be afraid that if I give 100% attention to God, मेरा क्या होगा? आपका कल्याण ही होगा. People are afraid. It's like suppose even while, let us say when you go to sleep, who breathes for you? No, I have to be awake, otherwise if I stop breathing, what will happen to me? Even when you are asleep, fast asleep, breathing goes on. Lot of things goes on, not by your effort, but by the blessings of that Supreme Lord only. So we feel that if I don't pay 100% attention to the world, something wrong will happen. Nothing will happen. I'm not saying that you be careless or this, but keeping because all these great masters and all, they were great in their actions also. And that's what we learnt in Karma Yoga, that yoga karmasu kaushalam, that kushalta, efficiency in action is yoga. The more we tune to God, the more our actions will become kushala, efficient. Our selfishness, our ego, all these things makes our action inefficient. So don't worry, you try to give more and more attention to God. He will take care of everything. पूज्य स्वामी जी सादर चरण स्पर्श। कल पहली बार मनोयोग से ध्यान आसन जो कि आपने आखिर के 5 मिनट करवाया था किया। ऐसा लगा जैसे कि गहरी नींद में चला गया हूँ। इतना कि सीढ़ियों से नीचे उतरने और बाहर पहुँचने तक नींद खुल नहीं रही थी। बी केयरफुल, हाँ? No sleep walking here. Only when you are fully awake, you start walking. Yeah. तो क्या यह मेरा तामसिक भाव था अथवा पहला प्रयास इन एक्सपीरियंस? कृपया समझाइए। Actually, this is good. Means when we meditate, we become. Therefore, we have to actually here we just practice for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and all. So, in a place where you can then even after meditation, actually very important that even after meditation we should just sit, open our eyes, and just sit there for some time. And then slowly and steadily, with that experience of meditation, we should then interact with the world. It's very important because when we meditate, it's different from sleep. Sleep is different and meditation. Meditation, you go into a deeper state. In the initial stages, we go into a state of peacefulness. The mind becomes extremely peaceful. You go into a state of present moment. One never experiences the depth of present moment. A present moment is very deep, but we are floating on the surface only. So when we meditate, we intensely become aware of the present moment, because to experience that God within as the self, we have to bring our attention here and now. There and then is world. Here and now is God. Sometimes people say God is nowhere. One person wrote on that wall, one Nastik, that God is nowhere. And his child who had just learned to read, he read God is, nowhere is a big word, so he read now, here. And suddenly he realized, yes, I had written God is nowhere, but it is now, here. So in order to realize God, we have to bring our attention in the present moment and go deeper towards that experiencer. From what we are experiencing, we have to go towards the experiencer, the I. And when one does it, this sadhana of meditation, one goes into a different state altogether. So immediately when you come out of it, it becomes difficult to interact with the world immediately. So it is better to sit quietly for some time, keep that memory of that meditation, and slowly then you start interacting. So you be careful next time. And even if you see someone sleepwalking, just be careful. But it's good actually, it's lovely. Meditation has got its own joy. 5 minute में नहीं होता है, उसको बहुत काल तक करने से then you go into the depth of it. रंग चढ़ जाता है उसमें. Just like music and all, 5 minutes if you hear, okay, but when you hear it for a long time, then you come into the mood of it. Then you don't want to get up from there. You don't want to get up from your seat of meditation. Then the whole world and all becomes little, I don't want to get up. It's like a person who is fast asleep doesn't want to get up. Similarly, a person who has gone into the depth of meditation doesn't want to again come out and interact with the world. He is aware of the world. He becomes aware and all, but his attention is within. But with that memory, one should slowly come out and then interact with the world. And slowly and steadily, one will be able to meditate and interact simultaneously. I want to ask following question. When you have explained God is one, then why you have done study of different gods like Shiva, Ganesha, Rama and Hanumanji in the beginning? Please clarify.